This is the call to order on the East Long Meadow Public Library Board of Library Trustees, scheduled for October 21st. It's now 6 o'clock. And I think we should first take attendance and then read the minutes.
Charlie Gray.
Art McGuire.
Susan Peterson, Library Director.
David Boucher.
Cindy McNaught.
And we have two missing. Minutes of the September 16th meeting, and it needs a vote of approval.
Diane, who isn't here tonight because she's feeling under the weather, did notice that there's an extra word on the second page on the Friends of the Library, and that's just my bad editing. In the second line, it says, she also passed, distributed a handout. Just, I will eliminate the word passed. It just should be distributed.
Would you just point to it?
That's right, right here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Say, I'll
Yep,
just
I see it.
eliminate that word.
I
She
see.
caught that, and she wrote to me a couple of days ago. Oh, well, you know, just shows we're not perfect.
I read this over earlier. Has everyone had a chance to look at it?
I just looked at it.
I would move we accept the meeting minutes for September 16th, 2015, as amended, as amended and as submitted.
I'll second the motion.
Seconds are probably not needed for this size. In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are accepted. Guest opportunity to address the board. I see no guests. Director's report with a vote to accept.
We've been very busy with various programs and events over the last few weeks. And then also very busy with filling some recently vacated positions
Yes,
and
I
people
saw that.
going into positions, and so I've outlined that. I also have a,
With Melissa.
yeah, I have a item on the agenda for staffing update, so I'll just,
Go
cover all
ahead.
that then. But I'm just writing about it in my report.
Okay.
Last night's program was really popular. We had the Graveyard Girls, and there were like 25 or 30.
Could you say that again?
The Graveyard Girls.
Graveyard Girls.
They are from the Worcester area, and they come out beforehand, and they go to the cemeteries of whatever town that they're doing, and then they give a presentation, on a historical presentation on, and in this case it was on East Long Meadow.
Wow.
So, it was really well attended. And a couple of
Great
weeks.
timing, huh?
Right, and
Yeah.
next week we have our Ghostology program.
It's a theme.
It's a theme.
It's a theme.
It's getting to be
Good.
the end of the month.
Good.
Yeah, you know what happens then, the witches.
Yeah. Zombies, vampires.
And I'd like to mention
Yes.
another very popular program that took place on Wednesday, September 30th, when we had Victoria Aveyard come
Oh,
and
yes.
do a little talk on her recent bestseller, The Red Queen. And we had more than 50 people come and do that. I think LCAT might have filmed that
Wow.
talk.
Did you?
Uh, Yes. So if anybody's interested, you can probably
Catch it. Okay.
go back and check out LCAT YouTube.
Mhm.
And then we just finished up the 6th class genealogy workshop.
Was that
And
well attended?
yeah, I mean, every week, the same people kept coming back, and they
That's
said he was
nice.
really interesting and informative, and, those who came, it's all for free.
Yeah.
The Friends have been sponsoring a lot of these programs, so thank you to the Friends of the East Long Meadow Public Library.
Again.
Again, yeah. And we have another movie scheduled for this Saturday. The last month we did it on the Friday. This month, October 24th, we're doing Aloha at 1 p.m. free in our community room. Anybody's interested in coming to see that? That's a decent movie. I don't know, anybody have any?
That Aloha stars Bradley Cooper, and I understand he's not for me so much, although he is sort of cute. I understand he's a heartthrob among
Pretty
among a certain segment of our
No,
populace.
so, I can imagine there'd be quite a few people
Coming
coming
to
to see
see
that
Bradley?
movie.
And
Why
beside
not?
that, he's a very
Yeah.
good actor.
He's an
Yeah.
excellent actor.
Very good actor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Art, you need a motion on the director's report? I'll make the motion to accept the director's report of dated October 21st, 2015 as submitted.
Good.
Does
Second.
that need a second? Then I'll second it.
You're in a
Comment-
good mood
comment-
tonight.
All in favor?
Comments? Any comments? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. It's accepted. The finances.
Okay, that's in your packet on the left-hand side.
I guess we could have done both of them together, couldn't we?
Well,
Ah, well,
Yeah.
a certain level of redundancy doesn't hurt.
That's right.
and looks pretty much like it did last month, with the balances, we take things in, we take things out. We're pretty much right on, here we are, mid-October, July, August, September, we're about 30% spent on salaries, and we're just chugging along. I am anticipating, hopefully, when the MBLC, that's the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, meets in early November, that's when the first round of libraries get certified for the state aid. And since we submitted ours a good 3 weeks before the deadline, we should be included in
the
that
first
first
round.
group. So I'm hoping to get a little boost to that
That would
state
be
aid
good.
account.
This is a nice, this is a little different format colors than we've seen before. It looks
Well,
nice.
I printed it out on the color
Color
printer
printer.
upstairs.
You see that?
It looks great.
It just makes those highlights
It makes
pop.
it easier to
to
read.
read.
Yeah. Any surprises in here, Susan?
No,
No. Nothing jumps out at me. Looks great.
The part-time salary wages.
that now is just for staff who do not receive any benefits at all. So we're talking about temporary, fill-in staff, library pages. They don't receive any, in other words, under 21 hours. When the budget was originally done, this was, before our accounting department had, some changes in the department and the way they wanted things accounted for. The part-time staff who worked 21 hours and were receiving prorated benefits were budgeted for this. That's why, it was bigger. But now, you'll see it's not. They've corrected that. It's a matter of moving people from one line
to
in the
another.
payroll to the other. But all the money is there. They
Yeah.
just kind of,
As I understood it, that what they wanted to try to do was to break out those employees of the town who were benefits eligible and separate them out from the people who are employees of the town that are not benefits
Right,
eligible.
right.
And it will help
Right.
downrange in accounting for the long-term liability that we are incurring.
right. It has
among
something to do
our-
with the Affordable Care Act, too,
Among
because of
our,
reporting.
among our full-time employees, benefit eligible employees.
So you can see that the bottom line, we've only expended a little less than 30% of our salaries budget, and we're already into mid-October. So,
Yeah, a quarter of it
yeah.
has been expended. No, I don't see any problem problems. Does
Yeah,
anybody
it's
see
good
any
to me.
problems? for-
No, I'll move we accept the extract of the munis budget report submitted by Olga Bonus on October 20th, 2015, as we have received.
Second.
I'll second,
Okay.
of course,
Do
for
good.
you, Chair.
You do good work.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. It's accepted. We're moving right along. Director's recommendation and/or information.
Okay, so in your packet, I've included, among other things, the cover-to-cover library newsletter for October. Also, the October Children's Department calendar of events and programs. And I've included a copy of the letter that I wrote to the patron who had brought up an objection to the inclusion of a book that we had in our library. And you'll note that that letter was dated September 23rd, and to this date, 4 weeks later, I have not heard anything from him. So, you know,
This is an excellent letter, Susan.
thank you.
Very well constructed, and I think you did a good job, a terrific job of representing our thoughts and all of the broad aspects that we considered as we reviewed the question that was brought to our,
So that's just for your
attention.
files. That's just for your files. And then
Thank
the
you.
last thing is, I had mentioned that I was going to attend a meeting that was for comments on the proposed recommended changes to the state aid program that was held at the Chicopee Library yesterday. Unfortunately, I did not attend that meeting. However, I went out to the MBLC's website, and under their state aid, section of their website, they have a 40-page document that contains all the, an overview of the program and the different points that the committee on looking into changing the way the state aid program works, their different points. So I went into that and I just printed out the 2 pages that were near the end of, and it's an appendix. It says, recommendations from the State Aid Review Committee. I mean, this committee has been reviewing the whole program over the last couple of years. I'm not on that committee, but after they met quite a few times, they've come up with ideas that they're taking under consideration. And quite a few of these things obviously would require a change in the law, because a lot of these things to do with state aid are in the state statute. So I just thought I would print this out for you folks to see. And I know it's, unless you're like intimately familiar with the state aid program, some of this isn't gonna mean a whole lot to you, but just from hearing me talk about it and talking about the, the municipal appropriations requirement and how much money we need to spend on materials in our budget, this handout talks about maybe different ways that they could change it. Nothing is, it's still just recommendations. No, they haven't decided
changed
to
anything.
implement,
They're-
no,
they're
it's just a,
Looking
Right.
at the whole body of
Mhm.
work and seeing what could be
Mhm.
changed.
And this committee, in addition to just thinking about our state aid program, they researched all the different, all 50 states, which states have a program to award public library state aid and which ones don't. There are 12 states in the country that don't have any provision to support libraries, with state aid. And 3 of them are right here in New England: Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. The
Really?
northern New England. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So there are 12 states. Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island do have programs, you know, in place, and they have different, but if you read this document, you know, the whole thing, they have a lot of great graphics, and it shows you all the states, and you can click on the states and you can see all the different requirements. So it is interesting when you see, you know, different parts of the country, they support libraries or not, you know.
And some support it
Various-
much better than we do.
Yeah, but Massachusetts
We're pretty good.
does support their libraries,
Yeah.
you know, compared to
Some
a
of
lot of the other states, yeah. So this is just for your, you know, reading pleasure.
Thank you.
I think that's it for the correspondence.
Okay.
Anything miscellaneous, I'll
Let's
leave
see,
to-
I was going to talk about, I went to the Charter Commission gathering,
Oh,
spoke up briefly about what I thought would be a wise thing. I'll mention it, I think a reach out to the newly arrived potential voter needs to be done, so that there's greater enthusiasm for the community, town meetings and town votes. I think there's, in my reading, towns that have attempted this, or states where towns attempted this, and there's a book out on this topic, how to get more people interested in it. Deserves to be tried before we change the mechanics of state, of town government, but others disagree with that, and what I'm describing might be very hard to begin or perform with an unknown result, so maybe people cannot wait for that event, but that was a comment. And on another matter, I guess we can mention this later, but we can mention it now. Ann Tiago sent me a message saying she could not make the Friends meeting because of the illness that's keeping her out today, apparently. So we won't hear anything about the Friends in an official capacity. Was there any other topic we had talked about, saying something else under miscellaneous? I can't remember what it was. I guess it was miscellaneous.
That's a good category.
Good category.
I'd be glad to say a few words about the future of the Red Sox.
I did want to tell you, Charlie, that your meeting for March with the Massachusetts Library Trustee Association is all set. You
Oh.
probably are aware of that.
Well,
It's a Saturday.
yes,
know?
Saturday in March.
They got in touch with me.
Oh, did they? Good.
Yeah, and so then, you know, it's all arranged, it's all on our calendar.
Good, there is a program.
I know it's a few months away.
There is a
but-
program chair, and I certainly didn't want to usurp her prerogatives, so I'm glad that she continued the march.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for your willingness to host this group. It's a good group, and they do good work.
Okay, of course, I told her you'd be on.
I'll be here, yes.
Refreshments and, you
I'll be
know,
here.
however you usually, whatever they usually serve, I don't know. you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, but generally
group.
it's coffee and donuts, and the host library provides coffee and donuts as a courtesy.
That we can do.
You get that in the budget?
I'll pay for it,
Okay.
as always.
Anything else?
There's also the meeting of the library trustee group.
Yes, I would mention that in passing, and once again, extend an invitation to anyone, any or all that would like to come. The Saturday, November 7th, is the meeting of the Massachusetts Library Trustees Association in Northborough, and I'm planning on attending, and I will go there, and I will drive, and any of you that would like to go, I'll be more than happy to pick you up, and we'll have a good time. It's a relatively quick meeting, no heavy lifting. There's some business. There are one or two speakers, and they look like they're pretty good speakers. And then there's a box lunch at the conclusion of the meeting, usually around sometime between noon and between 12 and 12:30, and the box lunch. And the meeting itself is free, so no charge to us because we are members. So come early, stay late.
Now, this is in Northborough,
Northborough.
north of Worcester, is that
Right, north of Worcester. It's about an hour and a half drive. It's right off of 495. It's a pretty easy drive.
Northborough.
And I'll be glad to drive you, Art. I know you like me driving. Especially
Okay.
since we got stuck in that traffic jam going up to Hammersleet that night in the middle of winter.
Yeah, what time, if, 'cause I may be coming from.
Okay,
Boston.
I'll get you the exact starting time. It probably, coffee starts at 9:30 and the program starts around 10. And it'll be over by noon, I think. You got the agenda there? No, I don't. That's
And it's at
something
the-
like that.
It's at the Northborough Library.
Northborough Library. It's a beautiful library.
All right. Legislative news, are we ready for that?
No, yeah.
I don't really have anything except from the little tidbit that I mentioned that perhaps at the beginning of November, when the board meets, they'll be starting to certify public libraries for state aid. I don't really have anything
Good.
more about that. I'm anticipating that, since they level funded the state aid budget, that we'll be getting around the same amount as last year.
Okay. At the town meeting, there was nothing involving libraries that I could detect as I sat through.
Was it well attended?
They met their quotas.
Yeah.
There was no issue. Mr. Shields has resigned from,
Oh, he has?
yeah,
Oh, he
that was
did.
his last meeting.
Oh,
Oh.
that's very good.
And he had stood up, and the announcement was made during the charter session. He had suggested continuing on with the town meeting, which was not what the charter commission people
Respect.
were encouraging. New business.
Well, he's done a terrific job.
Yeah,
and-
he has.
And he will, that's the first I heard of it, Art. I'm sorry to hear that. He's a terrific public servant. He's been fair and even-handed and consistent.
Mhm.
And he has held it together in some very trying times. And he's treated everyone with utmost respect, and he will be missed.
Yes, he will.
Moving on to new business, staffing update.
Okay. In my report, I mentioned some recent changes. Carol Gallietta is now in her promoted position as administrative assistant to the library director. She's been doing that for a couple of weeks now, and she's, learning the ropes, and we all know Carol, she
Yes.
has been a library assistant here for
Yes.
almost 2 years.
Which is very nice.
And she's very detail-oriented, very methodical, very organized, and just, she has a handle on the numbers, and she's been learning munis and how to do what's required for our department for entering requisitions, and that's the process that is used to get the bill payment process started for our department. So she's been learning that, and then all the different things that Stella Metzger knew, but of course you can't really learn everything in 2 weeks. But
Right.
anyways, Stella has been coming in one morning a week to just kind of impart her knowledge and, pass along things that.
Which is a really
I know, I said, it's
wonderful
amazing
thing.
what you find out, that what you know, when you have to show somebody
somebody.
your job.
So,
you
did I know all that?
Yeah, so that's been good, and, I think Stella will be coming in one more morning, and then she'll be
Done.
leaving for, greener pastures,
Ooh.
and,
Is she leaving the area?
no,
No.
no,
No,
she
no.
wasn't living
She
here,
was-
but anyways, so that's been working out just fine, so far. I'm very pleased with the transition that's happened with that. And one of our high school library pages left, Louis
I
Munson.
saw that.
So I get, he's just very active in school and various extracurricular activities and everything, and he just felt that he couldn't work here and
And do everything.
devote all
in
his time, and
school.
he's a senior now and preparing to go to college and,
Yeah,
you know, all
yeah.
that.
So it's time.
involved with that. So anyways, we were happy that a student had been coming in unsolicited by us to volunteer and, you know, to learn the shelving sequence and the ins and outs of that job. And when she found out that there'd be a vacancy, you know, that there'd be a position open, we basically asked her, you know, would you be interested in doing this job? And she said, sure, you know, why not? And so she just started yesterday. Yesterday,
Wow.
yeah, but she'd been coming in for like 2 or 3 weeks to volunteer and kind of learning with our other library page, Dan Frederick. And
Oh, yeah,
so
Dan.
basically it worked out by the time she started the job, she's been mostly trained. So that's you can't ask for anything
terrific.
more than that. And she is a senior at East Long Meadow High School, so we hope that she continues in the job. Her name is Raquel Montero. And then, of course, as I had mentioned, Carol, since she is now in another position, that left Carol's position vacant. So we advertised for that, which is a 21-hour-a-week, you know, prorated benefit position. And we advertised in-house, you know, it's a union position. So we advertised to all the different departments. And a young lady, Melissa Thaberge, who
Yep.
is currently working very part-time in the town clerk's office, inquired as to whether, you know, she'd be able to take on this job and keep the other job. Well, you know, long story short, we're able to combine the two positions
Excellent.
into a 37.5-hour, you know, full-time position. You know, she works in the mornings in the town clerk's office, and then we plugged her right into Carol's hours, the same hours,
Awesome.
you know. So she starts on Monday.
Well, she
and-
has been a long time patron.
Yes, and
came
she
in as
used
a
to, she used to work
youngster.
here, yeah.
Yes, she did.
Yeah,
And
so she lives in
came
East Long Meadow.
when she was young.
Yeah, she's a very, very bright young
Very
lady.
bright.
She has a degree from Assumption, and just very
Very
nice, just very personable, and
Yeah, she's
you
very nice.
see her, you know, if you ever go over to the town clerk's office in the morning and
And I
want
just paid my taxes and I saw her.
yes. And there is no,
They're always happy
there
when
is
you,
no conflict
when
of
you
interest
come in
involved
with
in that
yeah.
at all. You
Okay.
know, the duties are, they don't touch, you know,
Right,
so.
right.
So anyways, it worked out great,
It'd be a
you
good
know?
blend.
Yeah. And
I always like it, Susan, when you promote from within, and you've done a terrific job of that.
Thanks. Thanks.
And I think that's great. It's great for the town.
And then, more recent news that isn't included in my staffing report is, I'm using the opportunity of this meeting to inform you all that I'm going to be retiring
Really?
after the first of the year. Yep. And it's just been a wonderful time here, but it's
Greener
just
pastures are
time
calling.
to
I don't know.
start another phase of my life. And as my contract requires, I have to give at least 2 months' notice. And so, you know, if I had waited till the November meeting, it wouldn't have, you know, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And because in my contract it says, you know, to send a certified registered letter to Arthur and Tom Florence, I will be doing that, you know, in the next few days. So you'll have it formally in writing. But I wanted to tell you all.
Well, it's,
I will have been here a little over 11 years, but as many of you know, I have worked quite a few years in Massachusetts, been the director at 2 other public libraries in Massachusetts, plus a director up in Maine at a library there, and then tack on another nearly 20 years of working in the library profession. So it's,
No,
I
it's a long
rival
time.
Cindy with her long career, you know, ever
44
since
years.
I was 23, so we're, you know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
40 years, it's 40 years of doing what I love, you know, and as
Wow.
someone like Cindy who's worked in this profession, you know, you do it because you love it, you're
Really.
doing a
And we
worthwhile
were very
thing.
lucky to find something we loved and had a passion for.
And this town has just been the best place to work. And you know, I
I
just want to
would-
say this
I
on
would
camera, because people might not realize it, but knowing that, you know, I've been a director of the boards of trustees and everything, this has just been the best board to work for and the best library.
Well, thank
And
you.
I have never had such support and guidance, you know, and the people in the town have just been great. I mean, really.
I
So,
agree with you.
to all those people out there who are watching,
Susan,
It's been a pleasure.
It's gonna be a tremendous loss to our town and to our library. And from a personal, very personal perspective, it's gonna be a tremendous loss to me. You've been very helpful, tremendously helpful,
And to
and
me,
not just in, not, go ahead.
No,
Oh, I'm done.
I
Thank you.
know, it's just like, wow. You will be Mrs. Right, Charlie?
thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Wow.
So the board will be tasked with your most important duty of
The hunt.
the hunt.
Yeah, the hunt.
Well, you're not gone yet, you know.
No, I'm not gone yet, and I
we
would be
don't-
happy to, you know, offer some assistance and.
Words of wisdom,
You know, because it's a procedure.
She's got a lot of wisdom.
And, you know,
Don't be losing.
so I'm here and, you know, however the board wants to take care of this, you know, the process of hiring a new director.
Yeah, we'll start
Yeah.
the planning.
Okay.
Well, it's been
Your assistance.
the 11 years, I remember you started here right after the renovations to
Right.
the old library
Yeah.
were completed.
Yeah,
And in fact, I don't even think the paint was dry, so.
the signs
You-
weren't up yet.
The signs
weren't up
the
yet.
signs weren't up, the paint wasn't dry.
I know.
And
Yeah.
so you've really brought this library some tremendous leadership, and I'm telling you, everything that was envisioned by when the new library or the renovations to the old library were envisioned, you have brought all of those wishes to fruition, and the town is going to be forever in your debt. And your efforts have been much appreciated.
Thank you.
So, I personally thank you.
Yeah,
Can I second
I
that,
do too.
Charlie? I totally agree.
So,
It's gone awfully fast. David was on the committee
think?
for
Yeah.
the building of the
Yeah.
that's right,
committee.
you were, yes,
Yeah,
I
that's
remember
right. Of
having
course,
to
our
contact you a few
long time.
times.
Absent,
Yeah.
Mrs.
Doesn't say
Tiago
that.
was, of course.
Diane and Tiago and Ginny Robbins were
They were,
on
Yeah,
the
they
board
were, they were there on the
when I
board at
was
that time.
hired.
Yeah.
Oh, I tell you, what a good decision they
So
made.
you put a good team together, I'll tell you.
Yeah, as I said, it's just been a
that's
wonderful
what it's
place
about.
to work, and you know, it starts with all of you. And it continues through an excellent staff and the people in the town that I work with
That we're
in the
supportive.
different departments, and of course the public.
Right.
You know, we just get so much support, and it's
That's
just
true.
been a pleasure. It's just been the best damn library I've worked in, you know. And I've worked in a few, let me tell you.
Well,
So, you know, I saved the best for last, and I knew that I would not be going on to another public library. You know, that if I left here, I'd be retiring.
So we'll get a chance to talk
So-
further, I'm sure.
Anyways, it's just, you know, I just wanted to make it official, and you know, you'll be getting something
And
in writing.
congratulations
Yeah.
to, you know, as you
Thank you.
begin your
Yeah.
new adventures.
I don't know what that's gonna be
Because
yet,
it's an
but
adventure.
I have
Just
to find that
fall into
out.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do have to plot
I'm not
retirement.
one to sit around
Yeah.
and do nothing, so I will have to find out
Yeah.
what it is that I've been like, you know, keeping down.
Suppressing, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
retirements have to be plotted.
yes.
They
You
do
don't
have to
just-
Yeah.
be plotted.
You don't
But
just
I
fall in.
wanted to enjoy life while I'm still young enough and healthy enough and just, you
That's
know,
right.
have the wherewithal
That's right.
Good.
to do it.
Okay, I did want to comment on the calls that I made to each of you. I got approval from everybody by phone. that we ought to ask for time to be spent on something to be presented. I think we're going to be quite busy as a committee searching out Susan's replacement. But I think the issue is if somebody needs 15, 30 minutes, it's wise to go in knowing that that's the time requested, and will improve the nature of the presentation as well as otherwise. I also had a suggestion, Ginny.
And Arthur, thank you for taking the time to do that.
Yeah, okay. I have a suggestion for Ginny. Could we email to her here at the library and have it put in her box? Is that, or is that not permitted?
Well, you might as well just send it to me and then I can just put it in your box. I mean, is there something?
No, I
like,
just,
for instance, what would that be?
a summary, anything that you now call Ginny for might be put in her box. She comes regularly. And-
Usually every week. Sometimes it's every other week, though. You know, she
Okay.
comes to use the
But
library.
you know how we, I got some emails from Diane, and
Mhm.
everybody got a copy except,
Yeah. I did give her a copy of that,
Okay.
Bill. Yeah, when she was here last week, and I just happened to see her, and it wasn't that long since I had read Diane's email, so I did go in
Okay.
and I printed
Well,
it
maybe-
out and I gave it to Ginny.
okay,
Yeah.
maybe we can formalize that
Mhm.
for the rest of us without actually writing it all down.
All you have to do is say, please make sure Ginny gets a copy, and
Yeah.
I'll make sure she
Because I
she
think
does.
there's a danger of her being left out.
Yeah.
And you didn't know that there were boxes available.
Oh, I do now, because you mentioned it
Yeah,
last.
okay.
I forgot.
I'm
about
sorry,
that.
that's my,
No, well, no, I
That's
know
my
that they're
oversight.
there, and I just
Mm.
never computed.
Okay.
I always had a staff one, and I knew
Yeah.
that it as a trustee.
So that's the only housekeeping
Yeah.
thing.
well, what I'd like to say
bring
is,
up.
if there is something that I have put in your boxes, I will let you know. I say, by the way,
Don't
I
forget to
put
let-
blah, blah
That seems to
in
be
your
working.
box.
You've done that a
And-
number of times
Yeah, it just.
with me, and it works, and
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. That's a good way of operating.
Okay. All
Good.
right.
So there's no library friends report.
I do have another item on the agenda, though. It says holiday hours for Saturday, December
Right.
26th.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
I bring this up because back in 2009 was the last time that the Christmas holiday falls on a Friday. And back in 2009, I had asked the board to close on the day after, which is the Saturday,
Mhm.
and the board approved that. You
Mhm.
voted
I
to
remember
close.
that.
So here it is, 2015, and Christmas happens to fall on a Friday.
Yeah.
And I was asked by the staff, would the board consider just the day after Christmas, not New Year's, just the
Right.
day after Christmas being a Saturday, to give everybody a long holiday weekend. Of course, it's not an extra day off. I mean, everybody then would be working, making up those hours during the time before Christmas. It's not any extra paid holiday hours for anybody. It's just closing on December 26th. Doesn't happen that often. I said it's been 6 years.
And it
so-
worked out fine in 2009, so I don't see
Yeah,
any reason.
there was
I
not a
can't even
demand,
remember,
people
but
knocking on the door
No.
type stuff.
It's one of the slowest days of the year.
Okay.
So I'm putting it to the board if you would consider it, and it would need a
Well,
vote.
I would make a motion that we consider.
Could I ask a question?
Oh,
Sure, sure.
Go ahead, make the motion. Make the motion, we'll talk about it.
I would make a motion that we accept Susan's recommendation that holiday hours for Saturday, December 6th.
26th.
26th, the staff would be, we would be closed.
Okay, so I'll second.
And any discussion? Is that what I'm supposed to say?
No,
No.
I will say it.
Oh, okay.
So, discussion?
I generally resist, as you know, the closing of the library when we have announced our opened, the days that we're open.
Mhm.
And this is sort of a precedential, this is taking on sort of a precedential feel to me, that every 6 years we're going to close on Saturday.
No, but it doesn't have to be. I just said that
I
back
know, I know.
then, you did, it was probably a different board, you know.
I know,
mean,
I know.
It's
but
not like it's never
I,
happened. so that's all
I
I'm
understand that it has happened in the past,
Mm.
and we, many times people say, well, we have precedent,
saying.
and now
So
you're
that's what you
taking,
meant by presidential.
now we're
Okay.
taking
Yeah.
Presidential.
precedent.
No, I understand.
What did I say?
Presidential. And I thought the election, but that's not what you mean at all.
No.
Precedent, right?
I understand.
We know what you're interested in.
And, I hate for anything, because what happens is people begin to consider this as a given.
Mhm. I
And
see,
if
yep.
future boards
Hmm.
were to take it away,
Hmm.
then there would be,
Mhm.
people would be upset,
Right.
there would be complaints,
Mhm.
wringing of hands, gnashing of teeth. And I understand that most things, when Christmas falls on a Friday, most things on Saturday are closed. But I also understand that people rely on our services.
Mhm.
And I am not a Grinch, but I do have some real reservations.
Okay.
Now, that being said, if this is something that I hadn't known about, so I haven't had a chance to think it through, it isn't an easy decision, in my view. It's a very difficult decision. It isn't wanting to be a good guy.
Right.
It
Right.
isn't wanting to have the
I
little
know.
children with grandma and grandpa under the Christmas tree eating the Christmas goose or whatever. That's not what this is about. This is about providing the services that we promised the town
Mhm.
and doing what we said we were going to do. Now, I don't have any problem announcing this stuff ahead of time, like a year ahead of time.
Mhm.
Or in fact, making it a policy.
Okay.
Now, I don't think that we, as an individual entity, however, should make a policy because it will poison the well of the whole town. Everyone in the town will say, all the employees of the library have the day after Christmas off, why don't we?
Mhm.
If we had a personnel director we could go to, we could say, what is the town policy?
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So I'm not necessarily voting against your proposal, because generally speaking, I don't vote against, I vote for all of your proposals.
I'm bringing it to the board on behalf of the
Now,
staff.
does it require, well,
I'm
yes,
trying
do
to
they
be
understand?
Impartial.
Okay, that's fine, but you have made the recommendation, I assume.
Well, no,
Oh, you haven't?
I'm asking the board, because it was a request from the staff. You know,
Yeah, so she's relaying.
I'm impartial.
Well, okay,
I mean,
Part of
last year when the board, when the staff asked if we could close early the night before Thanksgiving, and I remember, you know, somebody asked, you know, well, would the public expect us to be open that evening? And I said, yes, because that's our hours. We're open till 8 o'clock.
I remember you
on
saying
Wednesday
that.
nights.
I remember you saying that.
So like, okay, you know, how can I argue against that? I mean, our policy is to be open on Saturdays, you know, unless there's a snowstorm or something, right through Memorial Day. So when people are hired here, and everybody knows in a rotation, I mean, you know, they have a schedule up in the staff lounge for the whole year. They know which staff will be scheduled to work during any holiday period, just because of whether they fall on letter A, B, C. Everybody works every third Saturday. So they know a whole year in advance whether that's gonna be their Saturday. I mean, you're hired, you work every third Saturday, that's the way it is. So, you know, but when they request, you know, I just feel that I should bring the request to the board.
I like your arguments, Charlie.
I,
The consistency is very important for, you know, this is one of the very few amenities in town that we can look at and say, this marks our town. And staying open is a big benefit.
Right. If the board at some point in time wants to create a policy where, you know, when Christmas falls on a Friday or whatever, we will be, well, that's the
Right.
policy, you know? But an individual request, I can obviously see that it creates a precedent, and then when down the road another board comes on board, how is that gonna be viewed?
Yeah.
When it's, you
Yeah,
know?
I would agree with
You
Charlie.
know?
I would think that you'd have to have this as a policy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know over the years statistically, that Saturday is one of the slowest
Mhm.
days.
But
of the
still,
year.
is that a reason?
No, I'm
to
just
be
saying
slow?
statistically it is.
Yeah,
And also it is, I think, one of the only town departments that is open
mhm.
on that Saturday.
Yeah.
Um,
Emergency services, police,
Except emergency
fire, yeah, yeah.
services, police,
Mhm.
fire,
Yeah.
et cetera. But as far as the teachers or the town hall
Mhm.
people or anything like that,
Right.
they never work on a Saturday anyway.
But
so.
that's their,
But they know that when they're hired, yeah, absolutely.
say, I'm not giving you an argument at all, I'm just stating a fact.
well, I appreciate you bringing it to our
But
attention.
I
If
feel sometimes, you know, being the director, I should bring, you
Oh,
know,
well, that's
things
appropriate.
to the
No,
board that the
entirely.
staff
That's
requests.
appropriate.
Definitely,
You know,
yes.
what you do with it.
I think that your statement, I feel better now, a little bit better, that you're presenting the statement without prejudice, and that is to say, it isn't your recommendation.
No,
It-
no,
It is
was
a request, and
It's a
that
request.
helps me
Mhm.
understand it better, because as I said, when you make a request, in my view, it carries a lot of weight, and always has. But as you're relaying information, it's a little different, it carries a little different weight, and a recommendation from you carries quite a bit of weight, and so that's my discussion. We have a motion and it's been seconded, but I don't know, do you have anything to add?
Like, I kind of agree with you, Charlie, that it's expected to be open if someone's doing some report or something. They may want to use the services, and then if they come down and they don't have it, they can't use it.
Students home from college
Sure.
needing to do a term paper? Absolutely,
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, should we vote on the motion?
I'm ready to vote.
So am I. All in favor? Those opposed?
I think we should have a policy.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking of that. So the nays have it for this.
Right.
The policy, though, the board might like to be elastic and approach each request to change times individually, rather than a policy that would be overridden. I'm kind of inclined to let the boards decide in the future, rather than commit them to time sequences that we can't predict, because there's so many different possibilities.
That's true.
So keep it as it is,
I think
on
so.
a case-by-case,
That's my
board by
take.
board.
It
Yeah.
works, we
That's how it's always
easily
been.
bend when the occasion and your suggestions present themselves, but it keeps us able to respond as we see fit, and I think this is the way to keep the library fit. And it lets the town knows that we do make that extra
Mhm.
effort to provide the service.
Okay, all right, I'll relay that, you know.
If
to the
there's,
staff.
you know, we can change our mind in a flash. If
Mhm.
you find that this is producing dismay,
Well, we'll
I
just-
can almost guarantee that.
Well,
really?
Yes.
well,
I
So-
mean,
I think Susan
you
can bring,
know, I mean,
Susan can bring whatever
Um,
information she has back to us.
yeah,
That would be helpful.
Sure.
but for now, you know, you voted, and
okay,
I respect that.
all right.
Right.
I think we have a lot on our
Like,
plate. And I think we're ready to adjourn. Are we, is there
I
anything
move we
else?
adjourn.
I don't have anything
Okay,
else.
I
for
think you
tonight.
presented us.
So the next regular meeting of the board then is scheduled for November 18th. We'll
Right.
keep it at that.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're adjourned.
It's 6 o'clock.
I don't think we need to vote.
Okay. Okay, we're adjourned.
We're adjourned.